Hello and welcome to this first video of the lesson, Financial Planning. In earlier chapters, we discussed what life insurance involves and its role in providing financial protection. In this chapter, we will get introduced to the subject of financial planning. Let us begin with financial planning and individual life cycle. Here we will cover the following concepts. Financial planning is the process of identifying one's life goals, translating these identified goals into financial goals, and managing one's finances in ways that will help achieve those goals. It involves assessing your financial position, estimating future financial needs, and developing a plan to meet those needs through proper management of finances. Individuals' goals may be short-term, such as buying an LCD TV, or medium-term, like buying a house, or long-term, such as education or marriage of one's child, or post-retirement provision. There are different stages in an individual life cycle, and the priorities change with each stage. Let us discuss different stages of life and their respective priorities. First stage is of a learner, a stage when one is preparing to be a productive citizen through enhancing his or her knowledge and skills. Funds are required for financing one's education. Second stage is of an earner, the stage when one has found employment and perhaps earns enough to meet his or her needs. Funds are engaged in savings and investment towards asset creation. Third stage is of a partner, a stage when one has gotten married and now has a family of one's own. Funds are required to buy a new house, cars, etc. Fourth stage is of a parent. These are the years when one has become the proud parent of one or more children. Funds are required for health and education of children. Fifth stage is of a provider. This is the stage when children have grown into teenagers. This stage includes their crucial high school years and college. Funds are required for high cost of education. Sixth stage is of an empty nester. This is the period when children have gotten married and sometimes have migrated to other places for work, leaving the parents. In this stage, healthcare protection becomes paramount. Seventh and final stage is of retirement, when one has retired from active work and now draws largely on one's savings to meet the needs of life. Focus here is on addressing living needs of oneself and the spouse till the end of life. The economic life cycle has three phases. First is the student phase, which is the pre-job phase when one is typically a student. This is a preparatory stage for taking up responsibilities as a productive citizen. The priority is developing one's skill sets and enhancing one's human capital value. Second is the working phase, when work begins somewhere between the age of 18 to 25 or even earlier and may last for 35 to 40 years. During this period, the individual comes to earn more than he consumes and thus begins to save and invest funds. And third is the retirement phase, when one accumulates wealth and builds assets which would provide funds for various needs in the future, including an income in later years. The reason for saving and purchasing various financial assets is that in each stage of life, he or she has to perform a particular role which brings a number of needs for which funds have to be provided. Savings may be considered as a composite of two decisions. Postponement of consumption, which is an allocation of resources between present and future consumption, and parting with liquidity or ready purchasing power in exchange for less liquid assets. Financial planning includes both kinds of decisions. If we look at the life cycle, we would see that three types of needs can arise. First is the enabling future transaction. The first set of needs arise from funds that are needed to meet a range of anticipated expenditures that are expected to arise at different stages of the life cycle. There are two types of such needs. Specific transaction needs which are linked to specific life events that require a commitment of resources. For example, purchase of a house or consumer durables. And general transaction needs, which means the amount set aside from current consumption without being earmarked for any specific purposes. These are popularly termed as future provisions. Second is meeting contingencies. Contingencies are unforeseen life events that may call for a large commitment of funds which cannot be met from current income and hence need to be pre-funded. Some of these events, like death and disability or unemployment, lead to a loss of income. And last but not the least, wealth accumulation. All savings and investments indeed lead to creation of some wealth. When we speak of the accumulation motive, it refers to an individual's desire to invest primarily with the motive of taking advantage and reap benefits from favorable market opportunities. Corresponding to the sets of needs, there are three types of products in the financial market. First are the transactional products that enables one to have adequate purchasing power or liquidity at the right time and quantum. For example, bank deposits and other saving instruments. Second are the contingency products, which provide protection against large losses that may be suffered in the event of sudden unforeseen events. And third are the wealth accumulation products, such as shares, high-yielding bonds, or real estate. These investments are made with the view of committing money for making more money. An individual would typically have a mix of all the above needs, and thus may need to have all three types of products. In a nutshell, one may say that there is a need to save for cash requirements, a need to insure against uncertainties, a need to invest for wealth creation. It can be seen that as an individual moves from young earner to middle age and then towards the final years of one's work life, the risk profile or the approach towards taking risks also undergoes a change. The investment style also changes to keep pace with the risk profile. When one is young, one has a lot of years to look forward to, and one may tend to be quite aggressive and willing to take risks in order to accumulate as much wealth as possible. However, as the years pass, one may become more careful about investing, the purpose now being to secure and consolidate one's investments. Finally, as one nears the retirement years, one may tend to be quite conservative. The focus is now to have a corpus from which one can spend in the post-retirement years. At this stage, people would want to conserve for one's children or gifting to charity. Thank you.